Yo, back on the Instagram Live for shelf number 2 of my movie libraries. Like I said before, there was a high demand for this. First week of quarantine almost done. Sometimes I'm like, yay, I get to be home, work on videos. The other side of me is like, oh, I wish I could go to a nice restaurant, live it up a little. But this was before times. Now we have to deal with this, but we got to quarantine and chill. It's the only way to beat this thing, and that and a vaccine at some point in life. But first shelf I did a few days ago. It's on the YouTubes. This will be on the YouTubes as well this weekend. Tried to put it on IGTV, but the bastards didn't want me to, so I think there was too many people just uploading stuff, so that's what happened. But all right, enough rambling. It's time to do shelf number 2. Here we go. Let's do this. All right. So, first title in the bunch, Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery. Who doesn't have this in their collection? I don't know. I'm sure a few people. Then we got the sequel, The Spy Who Shagged Me. And then Austin Powers in Goldmember. This one is in a tote in the back somewhere out there. So I will leave it there for now. Next I have Avalanche, one of those 70s disaster movies. This one stars Rock Hudson, Mia Farrow, and Robert Forster. May he rest in peace. I wonder what this movie is about. Could it be an avalanche? Oh yes. And it is directed by Corey Haim. I don't know who that man is, but it's produced by Roger Corman. So high quality right here in your movie, for your disaster movie. Avalanche. Then we have Michael Dudikoff, Avenging Force. You know, a great action star from the 80s. I wouldn't say on par with the Chucks, Bronson, and Norris, but he did have his American Ninja series. So he had a few movies in there. And of course, there's also Steve James right here somewhere. There you go. May he rest in peace. Died pretty young. Sucks. Next, we have Baba Boy from John Singleton, Tyrese Gibson, Snoop Dogg, Vin Rames. I haven't seen this one yet. It's in the collection. I will soon, though. I'm sure. How about some Yucks? Great 80s comedy. Back to School. This is the extracurricular edition. Ronnie Dangerfield, the man can get no respect at all. So we get a few special features on this thing. One of the early Robert Downey Jr. movies, of course, here and there, right there. It's really good. It's fun times. Next, a movie I saw in theaters. I believe it was May of 1991. Backdraft. All-star cast. Kurt Russell, William Baldwin. I think it was his first movie. Jennifer Jason Leigh, Rebecca De Mornay, Donald Sutherland. Great little thriller from Ron Howard. Then we have Badass right here. This is the story of Melvin Van Peebles, who went on to he directed Sweet Badass Song, and his son, Mario Van Peebles, played him in the movie, and he also was actually in the movie as a baby, played himself. But it's a great biopic. Who better to direct a biopic than the son of Mario Van Peebles? And if you haven't seen it, if you're a fan of blaxploitation, this is one to see. Then we have Bad Influence, thriller from the 80s, Rob Lowe, James Spader. I have not seen this yet, but it is high on the list. It's when they were at their handsomest, I guess. Rob Lowe and James Spader. So yeah, Bad Influence right here. Up next, Abel Ferrara, Bad Lieutenant. One of the greats of the exploitation era from the 70s. I believe this came out in 92 or 93, and Harvey Keitel gave his all in this one. He's a madman, and yeah, it was a great one right here. And then, how about the remake, or another version, I guess, by Werner Herzog, which is Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans, Nicolas Cage, Eva Mendes. That is of all the sequels to make, or all the reimagining, who knew we would get another Bad Lieutenant? But we did, and it was pretty good right here. Up next, a Christmas classic, Bad Santa, Billy Bob Thornton, Lauren Graham, John Ritter, may rest in peace, Bernie Mac as well. Who hasn't seen this around Christmas time? Very good. And the sequel was filmed here in Montreal a couple of years ago. Then we have Bamboozled, Spike Lee, right here. And then, all-time classic, my favorite trilogy, Back to the Future, Robert Zemeckis. I only have this on DVD. How come I've not yet have the Blu-rays of this? Since it's the 35th anniversary this year, perhaps they will release something, which would be very nice. And I was preparing a trip to LA, and right now in Hollywood, at the Hollywood Museum, there's a whole exhibit on Back to the Future, and Bob Gale loaned everything, like scripts and pictures and the DeLorean's in there. I was dying to see this, and obviously now I won't be able to go unless, things get better, but hopefully I will later this year. Up next, we have Band of the Hand, kind of like kids revolting against... Actually, I saw it, but I don't even remember what it's about. But I know that... oh yeah, Creator from Miami Vice did this, Michael Mann. And Stephen Lang's in this, and James Remar. So yeah, I saw it, and I barely remember it. So that doesn't speak well of the movie. Up next, Jason Statham, The Bank Job. Big fan of the Statham, especially the Crank series, right here. Then we have a steelbook of Barbarella, Queen of the Galaxy, Jane Fonda. It's very nice, came out 68, Roger Vadim. Very, out there, pretty trippy. She pretty much wears this outfit the entire movie. And there we go. It's the same as the slipcase here. So it's very nice. Worth seeing if you're into that kind of 60s mod movies kind of thing. Up next, Barton Fink, John Turturro, John Goodman, the Coen brothers. One of the earlier ones, really good. Basic Instinct. Ah, yes. Michael Douglas, Sharon Stone. I even got the sequel, which is a piece of crap, but we won't speak of it. Battle Los Angeles, which is alien invasion movie. I think it came out early 2010. The only thing I remember about this movie is the last movie I saw in Alamo Drafthouse in Austin, Texas. That was it. That was the one. But yeah, right there. Then we have a hip hop movie from the 80s, Beat Street. One of the with the break-in and Crush Groove. And that this is Olive Film that released this, and Olive Film are very well known for not having extras on their Blu-rays, but you buy it for the movies, obviously, so you get Beat Street right here. Up next, Batman, Mask of the Phantasm. Probably one of my favorite all-time animated series. I actually got the whole set. It's like a bootleg from China. It looks so real. I didn't know I was buying a bootleg. I just found out just by reading the text where they just misspelled words and stuff like that. So it was like, fuck, I got screwed. But anyway, this is really, really good. One of the definitive Batman, so. And speaking of Batman, we got the Batman Begins on DVD. Dark Knight Rises, the best of the bunch. And then The Dark Knight Rises, good, but a bit overblown, a bit too long, but yeah, it's all right, it's good. And then I got the craptacular Catwoman. And I only bought it because, well, I like that cover, and it's in French too. La Femme Chat, édition panoramique. Hey, parle-moi de ça. But so yeah, I bought it just for that alone. I would never watch it again. Then Beautiful Girls, which is directed this again. Yeah, Ted Demme. Ted Demme, who passed away in the early, I think 2009, 2010, but it's a nice ensemble movie, you know. Look at this cast right here. Pretty hot, pretty sexy. Then a first from Vinegar Syndrome, The Bees. I'm sure you could guess what it's about. It's about an invasion of bees. Bees, I say. And it's pretty cheesy, but I enjoyed it. It's right here. John Saxon. Look at this. Look at this. There you go, John. John Saxon. Oh, I skipped. How dare I? I skipped Beetlejuice. And Snapcase. Why do I not have a Blu-ray of this? I don't know. But there you go. Beetlejuice. My second favorite all-time trilogy, and that would be the Before trilogy, Before Sunrise, Before Sunset, and Before Midnight. Richard Linklater is one of my all-time favorite. You can see right here what it looks like. I can show you. You get here, Before Midnight, Before Sunset, and then Before Sunrise. But I'm a romantic at heart, and it's a very nice Criterion set. Glad that I picked it up. And then I have the snapper case of Sunrise, Sunset, and Midnight, because, you know, I like to keep him there. Then, First Code Red. Love the Code Red. The Being, starring Mark Landau. Oops, Joseph Ferrer, Ruth Buzzy. I have not seen it yet, but I'm sure it is craptacular. Jackie Kong. Jackie Kong directed this. So yes, we'll put this right here. How about some Spike Jonze, being John Malkovich. Again, Charlie Kaufman wrote this. They did, like I showed in the last video, adaptation. So this is pretty much their masterpiece right here. And then we have an improv movie, Best in Show, from Christopher Guest. This whole troupe, this whole sexy group right here. There you go. All right. Then we have bestsellers, James Wood, Brian Dennehy, like it's like a cop thriller from the 80s. This is James Woods before he became a dick, you know, so it was good in the 80s and the 90s, and now he's just a crazy person. Then we have Better Off Dead, John Cusack, comedies from the 80s, kind of like a little bit off-kilter. One with Savage, Steve Alden. They did both. They did two movies, this one and Summer something. Shoot, I can't remember. But both equally good. John Cusack right here. Arrow Video, Beyond the Valley of the Doll, Russ Meyer. Written by Roger Ebert, you know, because he was a dirty bird, that Roger Ebert. And this was supposed to be a sequel to Valley of the Dolls, but there was a rights problem, or the creator or the writer of the first one didn't like how it turned out. So this became like a parody of the movie, and it's very groovy, late 60s kind of movie. It is good. It is pretty good if you're into that genre. Then we got The Big Lebowski, this old version DVD. I probably bought this like in the late 90s. I haven't seen the new one. Like, was it the Jesus Roll or something? The sort of sequel that John Turturro wrote and directed that came out last month. The critics were not kind, apparently. Then we have The Big Picture, one of those Hollywood movies about Hollywood that's not very well known. Like, I only found out about this one like last year. So yeah, Kevin Bacon, Jason Lee, J.T. Walsh, great character actor, Terry Hatcher. There we go, right here. Then, oh my God, I got this old DVD version of Big Trouble in Little China, just like the cover right here. But I did buy the Arrow set right here with this cover. I will buy the Scream Factory. I don't know if it's out or will come out. I think it's out. I can't remember. But who doesn't love this John Carpenter, classic with the Kurt Russell. Then we have Bird on a Wire. Good Lord, I actually saw this in theaters in 1990. I am old. Mel Gibson right here, John Badham, that's right, at Goldie Hawn. So yeah, there you go. Then how about some Fred Williamson in Black Cobra, which was his one of the series he had in the 80s and the early 90s. I think he did 3 or 4 of those. It's your typical cop movie. It's the character Robert Malone in New York City. It's okay. I'm a fan of Fred, so I'll watch anything he does, but it's not his, let's just say it's not his best work. Let's put it that way. Up next we have Black Moon Rising, and this is an old copy, an old DVD of this. I know they just released, I want to say Scream Factory, Shout Factory, I can't remember who, but it came out recently. And there you go. Right here, Tommy Lee Jones. Up next, a movie I watched recently, The Legend of 7 Golden Vampires. Came out on Scream Factory. This is one of 2 collaboration between Hammer and the Shaw Brothers. The other one being Mr. Shatter with Stuart Whitman, who passed away a couple weeks ago. And it's really good, very atmospheric. The soundtrack is amazing to this. The fight scenes are all right, not the best in the world. Most of the white actors sometimes just hides behind rocks or stuff like that, so that the other one just fight it off, but then they'll join in, just punching out people. But wow, that was a nice ramble. But yeah, look at this cover; it's pretty great. And then there's the American version, the way they sell it in America. It was called The Seven Brothers Meets Dracula. Look at this fucking artwork, my man. This is amazing. They don't make stuff like that anymore. But yeah, look at this right here. So yeah. Up next, Blackout, which Code Red recently released. And this is like a thriller set in a building. It's like Blackout during the, I believe this is 1977 in New York City. In the middle of summer, there was a blackout for like a night or 2. And there's like crazy people coming in the building and harassing people. And this was actually shot in Montreal, right here. And it's pretty good. It's a pretty good exploitation movie. You gotta check it out. Then we have Blade Runner. I got the 4-disc collector's edition. I need to get my hand on Blade Runner 2049, one of my favorite movies of the 2010s. Why I don't own it yet, I don't know why. Then we have the Blair Witch Project. Yes, the Blair Witch, and its sequel, The Book of Shadows, which is kind of gaining nice reviews now. Like people are like when it came out, people kind of shat on it, but now people kind of dig it. So there you go. See, it took 20 years. Then we have a release from MVD Group, Blast, which is kind of obviously a ripoff on Die Hard. Just to look at this thing. Lyndon Ashby is the main star. And I remember him from the early 2000s. He had a spy series with a producer from Sam Raimi called Spy Games, which was really, really good. If you could find that out on YouTube, I would suggest it. It is pretty good. But this one has Lyndon Ashby, Andrew Divoff, great villain actor, Rutger Hauer, of course, Blast. Speaking of Stuart Whitman before, Blazing Magnum, great cop movie. John Saxon's in this, Mark Landau. The other title is Shadows in an Empty Room. It's American International. And this was also shot in Montreal. There's a great chase scene that lasts at least a good 10-12 minutes. It's on a street downtown René Lévesque Boulevard. And when I was watching, it's just like, how in the hell did they pull this off? Because I used to take that street to go to work a few years ago, and it would be barely possible to do anything. So how they managed this back in like, what was it, like 1977. But yeah, this is a great little underseen movie, Blazing Magnum. And rest in peace to Stuart Whitman. Up next, one of my favorite horror movies from the 80s, The Blob. I love this version from Umbrella Entertainment right here, starring Kevin Dillon and Chuck Russell. If you have not seen this movie yet, I would urge you to do so. Great little horror movie from the 80s. Then we have, how about some Cannon with Bloodsport? Jean-Claude Van Damme right here. Look how buff he is. Look at this dude. But yeah, Cannon, favorite studio from the 80s for sure. Then a Criterion DVD, Blowout, Brian De Palma, John Travolta, Nancy Allen. Probably one of John Travolta's best movies. Top 3 easy. Playing a sound editor, or an editor. Is it a sound editor? No, it is sound editor, right? Yeah. But great performance in this. And there we go. Up next we have Jamie Lee Curtis in Blue Steel, directed by Catherine Bigelow. That's the movie she did right before Point Break. And yeah, I've not seen it yet. Why I haven't seen it. Up next, a great edition from Film Centric. I think it was a limited edition. It's Blue Sunshine from Jeff Lieberman, starring Zalman King. Jeff Lieberman did Sunset Before Dawn, Just Before Dawn. There you go. A slasher from the early 80s. One of the best, actually. And this movie is about like weird murders in Los Angeles. And there's like a connection between all the murders, is that everyone years before took LSD. And somehow this is a connection between all of them. And it's pretty trippy. And I love this edition right here. You got this great artwork. And I believe it came with a CD and a booklet and stuff like that right here. So there you go, Blue Sunshine. And Zalman King in the 80s was like the king of the softcore movies, like they did a lot of B movies and stuff like that. Up next we have another John Badham movie, Blue Thunder, Roy Scheider, like a advanced helicopter that he pilots in Los Angeles, kind of like a futuristic helicopter. And then some, what were notes of this? I didn't remember. And Daniel Stern, of course. But yes, Blue Thunder right here. Blue Velvet, David Lynch. I have not seen this one yet, but I want to. I want to get a better version. That's what I want to do. Then we have Blown Away, Jeff Bridges, Tommy Lee Jones. I think also his dad was in this. Lloyd Bridges, yeah, playing like a bomb expert, and Tommy Lee Jones like a crazy person, blowing shit up everywhere. So it's a good one. Blown Away. We're almost done. Up next, BMX Bandit, Nicole Kidman, Severin. The first Severin I've shown on here. God, man, I've seen that movie so many times when I was a kid. It was the dubbed in French version. I've never actually seen the English version. It's Brian Trenchard Smith. One of like 3 BMX movies that came out in the 80s. The other one was Thrashin'. And the one that was announced today from Vinegar Syndrome, Rad, which will come out at the end of May for their mid-year sale. And you have to order this. I ordered it today. And it will make a nice double bill, even a nice triple bill with this one, Trashin', and then Rad will be rad indeed. Then we have another Brian De Palma buddy double right here. You can't believe everything you see. This is an old DVD version of this. But yeah, right here. Then we have Body Snatchers from another Abel Ferrara movie. And very underrated remake, of the Body Snatchers movies. This is really, really good, actually. And more people should see it. But yes, there you go. Body Snatchers. How about a Wesley Snipes movie from the early 90s? Boiling Point with also Dennis Hopper. It's not that well known, actually. I remember that came out and lasted probably a week in theaters, and then it was totally forgotten. Did you remember that Boiling Point existed? You probably didn't. But yeah, it's one of those, I think he did this right after Passenger 57. So yeah, there you go, Bowling Point. Other horror movie, Bones. Bones, Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg plays one of the Living Dead. And that's right, Pam Grier's in this. Just came out on Scream Factory, like on Blu-ray. Very recently, Ernest Dickerson directed this. He did quite a few movies, Surviving the Game with Ice-T. And mostly known for being the cinematographer of Spike Lee. But yeah, Bones, it's an all right movie. Unleash the Dog. Unleash the Dog. Then we have Bonfire of the Vanities, Tom Hanks, Bruce Willis, Melanie Griffith. Huge bomb when this came out in 1990. Brian De Palma again. Bruce Willis. It was all right. It was okay, but it didn't deserve all the crap it got. But I thought it was just fine, you know. Look at this right here. Then we have PTA, Paul Thomas Anderson, Boogie Nights. Who hasn't seen Boogie Nights? You know, many people have seen it. Burt Reynolds, of course, and Julianne Moore, and Heather Graham. Heather Graham in this. Very sexy. One of my favorite comedies from the 90s. Bowfinger, Steve Martin, Eddie Murphy. The Con is On, from one of my all-time favorite director, Frank Oz. This was the last time Eddie Murphy was funny in a movie, until last year when he came out with Dolomite Is My Name. And but this movie is so damn funny. If you need a laugh tonight or this weekend, if you have not seen Bowfinger, just the highway scene alone with Eddie Murphy cracks my shit up every single time I see it. They basically they're trying to put a movie together. Steve Martin's trying to find people to be in the movie and people to fund it. And it's hilarious movie. And then, my God, the last movie for this shelf is Boys in the Hood, another John Singleton movie, the classic movie, his first movie, Ice Cube, Cuba Gooding Jr., Nia Long. What else is there to say about this movie? It's really damn good. It's really damn good. So yeah, that is it. That is it for shelf number 2. I'll be back soon for shelf number 3. Hope you enjoyed this. Have a nice weekend. And I'll see you soon. Bye-bye for now. Ciao, ciao.